Have you ever truly questioned your sanity? I don't just mean a brief, "there I go talking to myself again" whilst you're bustling around the house or talking to your pet. But rather, a deep reflection into your state of mind? I can hold my hand up and say that I've questioned my sanity on many occasions throughout my 41 years of existence. Have you ever been home alone and thought you'd seen a shadow dart past you out of the corner of your eye? You're quick to blame it on a trick of the light or put it down to a hallucination. However, it happens again a few minutes later, then a few minutes after that. You start to feel someone's eyes on you, the hair stands up on your arms and the back of your neck, and goosebumps slowly work their way over the surface of your flesh. You look around as your heart begins to race in your chest and your palms start to sweat whilst a feeling of dread settles in your stomach, leaving you feeling sick. It started with the cats. For some reason, it's always the cats. When you walk up on it in the woods or find it under your house, maybe you find it when you're remodeling your house and find that one thing tucked away in the wall that makes you question it all. I had seen the signs before, first the little things, then they move up to larger prey. Sometime after living in the Red River, I moved to a small town called Angel Rock. It wasn't that far from the Red River and at first had all of the earmarkings of the town I had grown to love and to hate. Angel Rock had that town feel, the one where you felt that it was okay to settle down and start a family. As with any small town, it was hiding something much bigger than the Red River. Have you ever been lying in bed late at night, listening to music or watching TV, and just as you start to drift to sleep you're hit with the unmistakable stench of sulfur? It only lasts a few seconds, 10 seconds at most, but the stench is unmistakable nonetheless. Maybe it was perfume. In any case, you sit up in bed and wonder just where the hell the smell came from, pretty confident it wasn't from you or your dog or cat as they're not in the room. In my case it was neither. I didn't have one. Could there be a gas leak? I asked myself, and I am sure you would ask yourself the same question. No, pretty confident it's not that either, you would then think to yourself. Unable to find any cause of the horrid stench, you lay back down against your pillows and shrug it off. Maybe it was just another one of those hallucinations? Can it happen, right? You have seen people talk about such things on TV or someplace on the internet. So, you're back in prime sleeping position, again just about to drift into the land of make-believe when you feel the duvet being tugged gently at your feet. You tug back against the pole, believing the duvet was just simply sliding down from the bed. It happens, right? Bed covers seem to have a mind of their own, when you're not looking anyway. Yet when you tug it back up under your chin, it's then yanked violently from your hands. Your heart starts to beat wildly as your eyes dart around the room. Finding nothing that could have so rudely have ripped your duvet away from your tired hands, you shrug it off once again, crawling to the edge of the bed and pulling the covers back over you. Ready to just get some sleep. It's obvious you're overtired and you're starting to hallucinate again, right? You ask yourself the same question you have asked yourself each time a tree branch crossed the window. Nevertheless, once again that unmistakable stench of sulfur fills your nostrils and you wrinkle your nose in distaste. The feeling of being watched settles over you and the hair on your body stands to attention. With sweaty palms and a racing heart, you try your best to write it all off as a trick of a tired mind and try your best to get some sleep. Again, just as you feel yourself drifting to sleep, you feel something grab your ankle. Yelping and flailing, you kick at the sensation, at whoever happened to be grabbing your ankle. Scrambling upright, you pull your legs up the bed, panting and breathing heavily as you reach for the bedside lamp. Turning on the lamp, you find yourself alone. There's no one else in the room. So what the hell just happened? Whilst trying to quell the panic attack you feel building in your chest, you look down at your ankle to find a faint jagged handprint branded on your skin. Moments later you find your eyes are still darting around the room, that is until the light bulb pops, but this time you don't find yourself in darkness, as your eyes adjust to the sudden light change you see a tiny red light that begins to move across the room to the window. Along with it a shadow of a man seems to open it and jump out. The next few days were a little strange for me. I hadn't got as much sleep as I should have. The police had been combing the city and playgrounds for a man the kids were calling the Straw Man. Over the past few months, a man dressed in white would stay along the tree line of the local parks and houses around the city. He would simply stand there with a large VHS camera, watching and recording. No one had been able to catch him or chase him down to ask him what he was doing. Kids that chased him would only find straw where he had been standing. One of the kids that claimed to have gotten closer, a kid that was at the top of his class in the 100-yard dash. He had earned the name Flash by his schoolmates, but as he found out later in life it really doesn't matter how fast you are. Anyway, Flash claimed the man turned back to look at him, and as he did, his smile was filled with razors, shiny little razors. The man in white let out a laugh so loud, Flash had to stop running and he covered his ears. His description, Flash said, it felt like when you stick a Q-tip too far in your ear and hit your eardrum. You clamp your eyes shut and cover your ears, silently praying for it all to be a dream. You open your eyes and are greeted by the face from your nightmares and two bright green eyes. But, only for a second, then everything stops, the weight is gone and your body is free. But you still feel the dread, the fear, you still feel those eyes on you and the pain in your ears as your eyes focus to find the red light from the straw man's VHS camera. A few weeks after my midnight visitor, I found a package wrapped in a brown paper bag with a yellow post-it note that said, "Surprise." Inside beside it was a crude drawing of an Intel logo. I don't understand this. I don't understand a lot of things. I don't pretend to. The universe stopped making sense to me around the time I graduated high school. All the people in my life had spent the majority of it telling me that I needed to learn all I could to better survive, and this made sense to me, but this has never been the case because everything I grew up knowing had been wrong according to the world. Then one day I was mugged on the street and it occurred to me that the Pythagorean theorem wasn't going to get me out of this situation. Neither was the date the Mayflower Compact was signed or the different types of sedimentary rock or when we got our independence. There was no knowledge in my head that could make sense of the man with the knife and why my wallet was gone from my pocket and into his hand. He had moved so quick, almost reminding me of the magic tricks you would see David Copperfield do on TV. If anything, he had the superior equipment for dealing with life, and at that time I was his captive willing audience. This is not a revolutionary idea I've just stated. We all know about it. We all reach the place where we come to terms with the fact that life is chaos. We adapt to this. We buy a knife. Sooner or later we come to terms with the madness. We sleep soundly at night with the knowledge that our knowledge is stupid garbage. It's actually quite comforting to me. Or at least it was. Before I received the VHS tape in the mail, the one that was tucked away in the package with the post-it note. I didn't recognize the shipping company. There was no return address. Just a knock on my door and a good-sized package wrapped in brown paper lying on the ground in front of it. You know what I found inside? There was nothing written in it other than another yellow note that said, "Watch me." My first thought was to throw it in the trash, and I really wish I had, as each thing we do decides if we will have a long day or a hard day. I dream of easy days, but they never come. Curiosity is a parasite though. It rests on top of your brain and crawls around underneath your skull until it has the chance to whisper into your eardrum. My daughter calls them brainworms and was very descriptive when she explained them to me. "Daddy, it's a cross between a maggot and a smart caterpillar like the one from Alice in Wonderland." I guess anymore, is it considered hipster to own a video cassette player, or maybe it's just lame? I don't really care, I suppose. I own one is the point. It's in my attic under a box of Sports Illustrated magazines and Playboys from times long ago. To be frank, most I have never read them. What was sad, the VHS player, I had to clean it first before playing the tape. I put actual effort into something that was going to bring me misery. We all do that though, don't we? Ignorance is bliss until it suddenly isn't. As they say, we must pay for the pain of things to come as nothing is free. The video was ordinary, I was the subject in the tape. I at a coffee shop, sipping from a mug with one hand while I rubbed my temples with the other. It was something I often did when I was stressed. My right hand was wrapped in a bandage. On top of the white bandage was bright red spots of what appeared to be where blood had soaked through. I was dressed in a white suit. I didn't own a white suit. I had never been to that coffee shop before, but I had often passed by it. I never went in. I don't even like coffee that was brewed at cafes. The back of the yellow post-it note was a date. The date on the note was for the next day. Something took over me. The first thing I did was starting to feel as if I was about to throw up. The second was to start rubbing my temples. Afterwards I just sat and stared at the wall for a while. Rationalizing this should be simple. Obviously, it was somebody who looked like me and dressed like the person they had been hunting and had my same body language. Obviously, somebody had put the wrong date on the camera. It was all quite obvious. Except it wasn't. With something so simple my sheltered world was shattered again. The world that didn't make sense had just imploded in on itself. Chaos within chaos, darkness felt sweet, a disorder within disorder. For a moment everything felt meaningless. Then a simple solution arose in my head. I pulled my knife out of my pocket and in a single swift motion, stabbed it through my right hand. The next day I had coffee at a place I had never gone to before. Before that, I found a place that sold white suits, and then that night another VHS tape came and with it another note.